Welcome everybody to our live stream on Twitch and lichess.org. International Master with the Pondas here. International Master William Paschall with the Ponda crew. They're just adorable. Hello. 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 So we're going to go back to Budapest, get original Ponda back on stream, which I know you guys missed. We're going to say goodbye to the mascot, the Defense Minister of Defense, Master Fugu, taught me everything I know about being tough. Tough to eat, basically. I'm tough to eat. Hard to kill. Difficult to chew on. Difficult to digest. So what is up, everybody? Masturbate's been here for quite a while, waiting for me to start. I saw someone on sound. And who else is in the house here thus far? We will take a look. So let me see. Merle Dixon. Yeah, that's it. No GCS so far. More messages low. Okay, it's my subscriber stream. So we are focusing on game analysis submitted by said subscribers. 100-bit donation for Valentine's Day. Hallmark holiday. Happy Valentine's Day, kids. I still remember when I was in third grade, and I had a crush on this girl from my third grade class. I bought like chocolates, and I was so nervous, like walking to her house to bring the chocolate case to her house. But I was brave. Very brave. I did it. Memory I will never forget. What's up, Merle Dixon, Asterbait? All you guys ready to get started? Ludwig AC, Acer, Haberbaum, Nefidov. What's that one? Alms, Merle, Evan, and Ubatis. Just house. So we're getting started with Ludwig AC, I guess. I suspect that has pretty bad lag. Let me check this right now. Yeah, we're up to 3 on the ping board. Goodbye, Comcast. Hello, UPC. We're leaving for Hungary on Tuesday night. The stream will be down Monday to Friday next week. Hopefully we'll get back to better internet. Just no reason to have a 200 plus ping. I mean, it's just crazy. The wonders of American internet. All right, so it does get down there, but I don't know why it's so high right now. 300 milliseconds. I can't even open my messages quickly. So going back to Ludwig was the one who submitted his game like a few actually. I made a mistake and imported. Let's see. I made a mistake and imported the wrong game. Your message, please analyze this one instead. Thank you for your hard work. You are welcome. All right. So this is Ludwig AC versus I am Voya. All right. Getting the white bits. Asterbait with 2 donations. I didn't even say thank you. Asterbait for a 2 donation. That is awesome. Merle. And yesterday we had a new viewer, Hart Weiss and Nudel, who donated 1,000, which is amazing. Have someone totally new to the stream make a generous donation. Thank you guys for supporting the stream through these cold times. Taking my mom to Budapest on Tuesday night. We're going to move back with my family, which will be fun. Interesting. So, again, the stream will be down Monday, Friday next week. I'm hoping maybe by next Sunday we'll get the Sunday Simul on. But anyway, in the meantime, we have Friday tomorrow, Fast Friday at 12:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 in the afternoon. Blitz 5+3. Sunday Simul this week is on schedule at 4:30 p.m. and that'll be our last stream for a while. So, all right, here we go. Ludwig AC playing white, playing against International Master Voya. What is the 1800 rating about? I don't know what these ratings are. Okay, e4, e6, the French defense. I don't think I've ever played this guy. So I just know that he has a reputation for being kind of solid. I think I watched a few games that people, or I've analyzed a few games people have submitted. He strikes me as kind of a solid but rather routine, boring. I am no doubt, like, qualified, decent player. Okay, e4, e6, f4. Also mute. Just making sure she stays chill. f4 against the French. Ludwig, I don't know much about this. It seems wrong to me. The French is a very central opening, and f4 would typically lead to, I guess, a couple scenarios. A kind of close game where you're going to play e5, which I think is playable. I had a game like that on Tuesday, or was it yesterday? I had a game like that where I played e4, f4 against something with e5 with that structure. Maybe one of my first games from yesterday's stream. But it's not. It's like an inflexible structure after d5, e5. I don't really like this. Black has at least equalized here right out of the gate. But if you really, really, really like closed positions, I could see playing this with white. It would be ideal to play this against someone, who with black doesn't like closed positions, but people play the French defense generally don't really fit into that category. So what's really good playable white doesn't require loads of variation learning. Up in the middle of Barry, as everyone knows it too well. Well, I mean, any of the main lines, of course, everyone knows everything. Somewhat unsound, you should take up like shogi or something. But no, I think it's difficult with the French defense, to play non-theory that's sharp. It's hard to get an open position at all. Gambit style play. You could do the wing gambit against the French, maybe. If you like gambit style play. Alright, some kind of wing gambit against the, you could find one of these weird gambit lines against the advanced variation, like bitch played, maybe, with like bishop d3 or whatever. d4 pawn. It's good for fast time controls. d3, yeah, well, no, white should definitely play d3 here. If move 11, if you're talking about, yeah. I had this exact game, as I said the other day, in a similar structure with that guy who finished second in our tournament. Third. The guy who finished third behind me in the tournament on Tuesday. My arena tournament. What's his name? Maybe someone can refresh my memory. But, yeah, absolutely, move 11. This is like, kind of Sicilian reverse. Yeah, d3 is normal. Some kind of d3 type setup. Not trying to play d4, but d3. Okay, guys. So c5. I don't know, what this is. There's Cao Shang, who I played several times. He used to live in Budapest. Probably still does. I think he stopped playing chess, started working in the Chinese market. It's like ridiculous. Move to Hungary, become a chess grandmaster, and then like work in the Chinese market. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so Cao Shang is a good player playing black there. His opponent, I don't know. But b3 is just weird. I just think like move 11 is suggesting, and here is actually a suggestion for someone. This is the kind of wing gambit thing I was talking about. Yes, I'm not sure it's correct. The wing gambit against the Sicilian is not so correct anyway. A rainbow unicorn? A rainbow unicorn. Alright. For Valentine's Day. But I don't like b3. I don't know what that's about. If you're going to play this knight f3, I like g3, bishop g2, castles, kingside, like a kind of type formation for white, essentially. Which is what I played the other day. I don't know what b3 has to do with anything. It'd be problematic, really. What are you going to do? Play bishop b2 and set up pasture? So this is really strange. And then bishop b5. mathematically, playing for control of the e5 square, but that's kind of a good bishop. I mean, we had the structure based on f4, so I don't think white really wants to give this up here. It's not really a nimza. Bishop d7, knight f3, and he could just win a pawn here with knight takes e5. So this was a really bad game for Ludwig. He normally doesn't make, bad moves in the opening stage. He's experimenting, though. I mean, Ludwig, a player who normally plays English, is out of his element here. But I mean, this is unbelievable that Voya, I guess, is a simul. I mean, not to play knight takes e5 because he's afraid of anti-tactics or something. He's paranoid, afraid of ghosts, we would say. 95, and you can imagine also here with like, ooh, a ghost. There's plenty of ways to protect f7. Smooth move c7. For example, you just defend it laterally without compromise in your position at all. You don't even have to play g6. I'm sorry about the stockfish move 11. Yeah, I didn't know it would lag the stream. It doesn't always do that. Sometimes it does. Lately, it wasn't doing it all the time. Thanks for letting me know, though. Queen c7. For lag's sake. Uh-oh. We gotta keep an eye on. Not forget. So, yeah, Voya doesn't want a pawn. Plays 97. That's unforgivable. I mean, if it's like a 5-minute blitz, I'd still see it. He plays a6. I think he's taking it easy on white or something. I don't want to win a pawn. I'll give you a chance. I'm going to play a6. Honestly, if this is my game, I probably would play like bishop e2, to be honest with you. Okay, bishop takes e6. So it doesn't have any compensation for the bishop here. Realistically, there's no F. We don't seem to have any development lead. A lot of. I'm not trying to tear Ludwig apart, but this is really not a game. I think he played well. D3, like bishop e7, Voya 2, missing those simple pawn wins. Bishop d2, this is okay, but what about this? Only option really develop back and drop back to e2. So Voya here just playing on his stronger side, on the queen side. This is sort of inevitable. I suppose white could think about playing c4. That would be maybe working with the dark squared bishop a little bit, but the pawn itself, we could argue that the queen side is like black side of the board. I skipped ahead a move here. Queen b6, queen e1. I appreciate, Queen g3 ideas, but again, white has no real chances unless he could maybe trade the dark squared bishop off. If he trade the e7 bishop off, maybe white has some attacking chances on the king side. So the fantasy of playing like f5, bishop g5, king h1 is probably useful here. I'm not sure if black should play 5 or not. I mean, he's really kind of making a compromise by playing on white's spatial advantage side of the board. If you take on f6 en passant, the bishop takes. That looks actually okay for black. But now our bishop just absolutely stopped me. Just buried with no prospect. So Voya closes off the king side, and then he's going to go about his business on the queen side, grabbing space. This is a good move for some threats. Bowling for dollars. Now white play king h1. I mean, you might consider bishop e3, but then c4. So now it's like a king's Indian. Black will try to infiltrate on the queen side along the c line. I mean, he's an experienced player. Bishop e1. Idea of bishop f2. My side. a5. This really is now. But it is defending the e6 pawn. I think we'll see knight a7 b5. Voya thinking in terms of perhaps some maneuver. And I got really bad lag. And I think this is a strange development here. This is exactly the exchange that white wants in this type of position. I'm saying that the only way white's going to get an attack is if he can trade off black's bishop. Voya just leaves the knight on g5 and then trades off white's bad bishop. That's kind of suspicious. I feel like white should just jump the chance to trade this off b5. Queen takes c5, rook c1, and then I guess black can protect. So we can wait with this move. Problem is now h6. I guess black can't really avoid the exchange of bishops. I think today we're gonna have to think about whether or not white should have exchanged and taken the c file there. Ludwig seems like he's concentrating on here, you know. This is like just saying, okay, I'm going to attack an imaginary target along the file. Honestly, can we look at queen takes f2? I mean, is going to say all I do is trade queens. But this isn't just about trading queens. I mean, it's about like getting control of the d4 square. Maybe this is something to think about. However, there will be problems like whatever happens because this is going to be... I think white could just play something like this though. And really entry points for black available along the file. So this didn't work out strategically that well for black. Although he's still solid, he has a bad bishop, and white has control of the d4 square. Probably what it means, let's say. Trade queens, and then try to do something. But no good square for the knight. So we're looking at what, like knight 7? Knight 7, d4, no entry points. And, yeah, we double the file, I guess. But it's a close game. Maybe black's better because of the c file. So let's see what happened. Rook takes f2 is not the game. This is the game. Okay. Rook c7, rook f1. I don't like this move. And g4. You've got to ask yourself, do ancient aliens really exist? What's up, guys? Welcome to my stream. Focusing on cyber analysis games. Submitted games from our subscribers with detailed analysis. White's trying to do something on the king side here. His king just got a little bit opened up. The g4 is double-edged, though there are a lot of things you could do. I mean, I may well have played this move myself, but I'm a little bit concerned about like this incursion here at e3. For one thing. On the other hand, another question we have to ask is, was it necessary to play rook f1? I guess it was. He protected all the rooks so he could play g4. Alright, here we go. So it takes back. A nice blockading maneuver. A7. Player who's comfortable defending. What is up, guys? So knight e7, knight f5, knight d4, probably knight here d4. Prevent knight f5 is one option. The second option to directly threaten. And nicely done. So there's a couple different ways to do this, though. I mean, I think here he played He played a funny move, h4. But it seems a bit weird to play knight h4. I would think you'd want to go to d4, where you're centralized, and you're also keeping all the entry points controlled. The key entry points along the c file are all controlled. If you play knights to d4, the black rook doesn't have an entry point at c2. So I put the goat in goatee. The greatest goatee of all time. I'm not the greatest of all time, the greatest goatee of all time. Knight h4. And again, you know, Voya, a player who likes to defend, it looks like. Bishop c6, this is a stodgy, really tricky little move. That move would not be possible. Let's see. If we went knight d4, right? I'm knight d4 here. If you play knight d4 instead of knight h4, now bishop d6, there's knight takes e6. I mean, that's just problematic for black immediately. That's what I'm saying, Infinite Flash Chess. Very good. Very good. Would you like a cracker? Knight f5, knight h4, bishop c6, knight takes f5, e takes f5. There must be a lot of lag or delay. Queen takes f4. Well, yeah, I mean, we saw d4 coming, so I don't know, man. Now g7's protected. Oh, that's my clear improvement. So he does this, he takes d4. It's like, well, now black's winning the exchange, and his pieces are all working. So my guess would be that white would be doing okay now. Maybe white is better. d4, queen e6 check. h8. Well, I see nice defense. The queen is pinned. I mean, the bishop is pinned to the queen. This is scary. Very scary long-term threats. White has protected past pawn. I'm not sure. I was looking at like rook. It does seem like black doesn't have the c file. You know, he's not doing anything. He's down a pawn. The only thing black has is this kind of scary white bishop. So maybe something like queen b5. I mean, is he getting caved in with f5, f6? You know, I mean, we've got like knight takes d4 problems because that knight is a little tricky to defend. You know, how are you going to defend that? So I might turn on the oracle for a second here. Jim, what's up? Turn on the oracle right here. I mean, see if queen b5 is truly the right move. Something wrong with queen b5 because the engine's not even considering that. That's weird. I don't know what I'm missing. Apparently, only one move for white. The secret rook g3. No, the engine kind of starts to like my move now. I don't think this is that easy. You know, white has to play rook g3, and then bishop a8, and then there's scary threats on the long diagonal. You know, at any moment. Essentially, this is like the diagonal of death. So maybe white's winning, but you have to be Magnus Carlsen or a computer to see that very quickly. Yeah, rook g3 is obvious. Okay, fine. You know, it's a move that doesn't hang the rook on g2. It defends the pawn at d3. All right, I'm going to turn off the engine now. A raid is coming. There's word that a raid is coming. All right, well, what happened here? Queen 7 instead. Anyway, back on the queen. And I guess someone offered a draw here. No, I feel like both sides made a lot of inaccuracies. How fast was that control? Time control 3600 plus 60. Long simul. I don't understand how Voya didn't win a pawn in the opening. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Okay, thank you for the submission, guys. Acer is coming up next. I'm being game submissions from our subscribers. I finished my beer already. Donated 100 bits. This week, Hart, Weiss, and Ludo with 1,000. Dim with 500. Camel 401. Thank you, Merle, Astrobate, and Dim for donating today. Spectacular Cat will be around maybe later tonight, or he'll just watch the replay. Someone on sound said disaster. Uh-oh. I must have missed a disaster. BUCHD said race. I don't know what the disaster is. Astrobate donated another commercial. 2 bits. Oh, about the finished beer. Yeah, that is a disaster, and unfortunately I'm on a strict 1 beer limit tonight because I have to work after the stream. Infinite Flash said I haven't had any interesting games as of late. Well, we've got quite a few submissions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There'll probably be like a couple people who come late. Alright, Astrobate is white. Bishop's opening. I think a good choice. Avoiding the Petrov. Check my computer is doing something else. I'm going to get a new computer set up for the stream when I get over to Budapest. But right now we're working with the same old, same old. It sounds like you're kind of struggling. I got a couple of those I can close here. That probably won't hurt. Alright, so 4, knight c6, c3. You can always play some kind of crazy gambit with your Astrobate. I mean, f4. What's that about? The King's Gambit of sorts. I don't know what you call this. Definitely playable. Someone played Queen F3 here. This is ridiculous. Alright. So, C3. This is certainly not a bad move. Play some kind of gambit up your alley there, someone on sound. Yeah, the Urasov, but he didn't allow the Urasov, right? With knight c6. Now, if you play d4, what do you get? Can you do this? Like some kind of weird gambit? Get delayed? Yeah, we transposed. That looks cool, man. We just do a delayed gambit style play. What is that anyway? That still just doesn't change classification by changing this. Alright, this is gonna show Bishop's opening no matter what I transpose to here. What is that anyway? So anyway, Astrobate just goes back to a kind of Joko piano. Black, although delaying knight f6 is considered to be inaccurate. e4, blast him. No, he played b4. Astrobate. I'm just trying to just grind this into his brain. Play for the center. Play for d4. I mean, b4 is okay, man, but I mean, this is a simple move. So what's happening after d4? ed, cd, bishop b4 check. And you can play king f1 if you want to. Be a crazy. Old school. Play like Morphe, Astrobate. Play like Morphe, my friend. József Pinter József briefly worked with me, but we've always been friends. Okay, b4, bishop e6, a4. And then I'm trying to trap the bishop on b6. Right, so a6 is normal. Oh no, Esterman is here. That name. Why? Play like Morphe. Absolutely, positively. Play like Morphe. Play d4, sack the pawn. Let him check and play king f1. This gambit style play is designed perfectly for wise. That expansion thing never really did it for me. I just always feel like somehow down the line later on, white should be punished for weakening the queen side. But it's not always the case. What's up, Serious? Mr. Serious. D3. Alright. I guess there's nothing else to do at this point, you know? Looks like a good move. This is kind of hollow. You can play queen b3, but it doesn't really do anything. Maybe just protect that, you know, in several different ways. I'm admitting that this is a playable setup for white, but I don't really feel like I like it that much. So d3, okay. You grab the little space. I was talking to somebody today how it's like any kind of classical opening, especially the Philidor, it's always bad to like play bishop g4. That's your good bishop. So this like pin and e4, e5 openings is typical and often bad for black. Here's yet another example of bishop 4 not really being a good move. Too many Y's. Alright, Esterman, what's up, man? Still in Boston? Bishop g4. Okay, what do we do now? Well, I think it's always good to play h3. It's a scenario. Because if you kick it back to that diagonal, it's out of play. I mean, this is always out of play. Just because you play h3 doesn't mean you have to play g5, totally weakening your king side. But it's always useful to play h3 if you can drive him back to h5. So Astrobate just doesn't care. He's a purist. The other possibility, h3, doesn't appeal here. He just queen f6. He probably has a reasonable game there. The U.S. Bostonians. U.S. Bostonians. Wait, Infinite Flash Chess, you're in Boston? Are you serious? I never knew that. Are you in Boston? Esterman is really a Floridian. But I'm also not really originally from Boston. Alright, so let's see. Transplanted Masters. Just wanted to make the joke work. Okay, b5. Yeah, this is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What day is it today? Mike. What day is it? Astrobate, seriously, you're not developing your pieces here. And you don't even have like the ability to recapture on b5. So he totally spaced in a perfectly good position. I think this is good, like 92. We're going to do the classic sort of finance plan. I think h3 is good. h3, knight f1, knight g3, that's the standard setup. Drive it back from, you don't even need to play g4 necessarily. Queenside fishing pole with b5. Bait there. The fishing pole that doesn't work. Alright. The guy's like, alright, whatever. A takes b. Bishop takes b5. Now, white basically has lost, like, his opening advantage. And it's just like head shaking, you know, what is black doing? Why would you have this pin, like, just traded off, you know? Casting. He's casting. Of course. Just an absurd continuation. Okay, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, knight f6, and now bishop takes c6 check. Sorry to see that go. I mean, as well. I mean, I don't really think it's worth it, you know, to trade a strong bishop here for bishop takes c6. Wait, that critical pass pawn on the queen side, but I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. These guys just don't respect the way it's for bishop WSB. No respect for WSB, whatever that is. Take, castles. At least you have the decency to castle. Black still doesn't have the decency to do that. You gotta respect fundamental principles. Will admit, you know, in the existence of fundamental principles. Happy Valentine's Day, jerks. You too, man. Don't send me any mail order gifts. Nothing funky, okay? Castles d5. We're here with this move now. Now developing. I mean, at the end of the day, Asterbate has an outside pawn that might be not, you know, not the greatest. Happy Valentine's Day. I forgot to buy candy and flowers for the stream. Another ugly move by Black. Now d4. You know, but against this move, I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do, because it's kind of like you want to put your knight out on c4, but then Black's going to take on c3, and maybe it's not that bad for him. So Asterbate thinks he's playing the Czech Benoni now. A Valentine's donation, yes. Another commercial. I'm feeling romantic now that Bob's here. How come Will isn't depressed and searching for the meaning of life, since the chat loves Bob more than him? It's all about perception, Infinite Flash S. It's all about perception. We know where your perception's at. I'm more about feel, you know. I don't feel the same things that you do. I don't feel that the chat loves Bob more than me. I believe in feel. Alright, it's intuitive. C4 is another move I don't feel. I don't feel for this move. What does the Oracle say? Forever. It challenged me to rate. If this is the perfect time for rated 1560. Get out of here. Alright. Thank you, Frankie. So, it likes knight c4. Mikey likes it. Allowing us to take another nugget here on e5. To the naked eye, this starts to look like chaos. You know, I admit that it's a little chaotic, but the tripled pawns, there's something dubious about that. All right. Frankie. Mike. All right, it's not hump day anymore, but Frankie's going to have to get temporarily. He's going to get some attention, but he's going to get temporarily blocked. It's nothing personal, Frank. All right. To do that, it hurts me. This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. But I feel that Asterbate's, yeah, closing it up with c4 isn't right. It's just somehow not right. It's not bad for white, but now this thing has gotten out of control. I don't know, Asterbate missed his favorite move. It's so strange. He loves playing rook a7, but he doesn't feel the same way about rook a2. Can you guys explain to me? This guy, he thrives on playing rook a7 with black. But I want to play rook a2. I mean, we have lateral mobility all the way across, plus it supports the outside pass pawn. That's basically a guaranteed win in many endgames. Asbury's like, nah, I'll just give you that. Now, I don't know what happens after rook takes a4. I mean, maybe white has some strong threats. It's making me nervous that black is not casting. At this point, a3 starts a serious problem. There's also this queen g3, which maybe like wins material. Queen 3, queen d6, queen g7, rook g8, and you might have some sort of compensation. Queen g3 is a little materialistic. This is a real point. Okay? That is a problem. So now black has to play bishop b4. It looks mandatory to play bishop b4 here, and at least you can castle. This guy doesn't know about castling. He manages to do it though. Oh no. He just straight up castles into the ghost diagonal. But doesn't that lose an exchange? It just loses an exchange, right? Yeah. Okay. Takes. So, I mean, this was a game with, like, a lot of points where White could probably improve his play. He didn't do anything bad, like, really bad. But I'm like, okay, we can take Astrobate from... Astrobate played this game like he was, like, 1700. But we can take Astrobate and turn this game into, like, 2000 plus level if we improve a lot of little things in this game. Black has no concept of the value of king safety. No, sense of danger. And as I mentioned to other students and people that I've talked to my years of teaching, it's surprising how strong there are some players, how strong they can get with a very weakened sense of danger. Be right back. Alright guys, anyway, this is over. It's a matter of technique. 29 plus 20, a mere plus 29. Thanks guys for hanging out with me. Good game, Astrobate. 15-cent pawn loss.
Yes. Yes.
Nice job, man. Plus 65 for White here. Let's see the end. The end is near. Check. Check. Oh yeah, we must get the pawn on h7. He's playing with his food. I'm waiting for rook e8, but there's a little bit of lag. Yeah, good game, man. Oh, yeah. So, it reminds you of Rango, the toad of Rango, if anybody knows that. Alright. I'll let you kiss my sister. So, rook e8 check. Good game, Astrobate. 15-cent pawn loss, not bad. I think we can take him up to plus 2,000 after this game. Alright. So Haberbomb is here. No, Haberbomb has a submission for the subscriber stream. Thanks guys for watching. We've got only 23 viewers. Usually a subscriber stream doesn't attract as many viewers. I'm prepared for that, but 23, come on now. There's some other streamers out there, but they just can't touch me in terms of instructivity. Alright, if you want to watch Pulp, there are lots of channels you can tune into on Twitch for other things, or just, whatever, go to YouTube and look up all kinds of random stuff. But if you want to learn chess and get better at the game, there are only so many streams you can watch. Alright, rook e8 check, what are we up to? We're going for Haberbomb. Alright, Haberbomb, we're not into Pulp. Haberbomb is here. Subscriber game analysis submission. Very serious. 14 to 19. Chapter 3 of the study, I was White. Chapter 3 of this study? Well, I mean, I guess that's this, right? In other words. Open. Too much information. There I have to go to chapter 3. Alright, there it is. Modem. I guess these are teams. Norwegian teams. Team Modem. Complain about the people who aren't here. To the people who are here. No complaining, period. Benko. All right, so our hero here, Haberbomb, who's capable of playing well, he's playing white pretty good in the opening, I have to say. His theoretical knowledge seems excellent. So d4, knight f6, c4, c5. I don't play the Benko. Occasionally Benko type setups by transposition. Let's see, c takes b5, a6. So yeah, my brief experience on the white side of the Benko accepted is like one loss against this Grandmaster Lazarov. I don't know what came over me. Like, I decided for the first time in my life, randomly going to play like the accepted Benko against a GM. But I've never played it in like one other game in my entire existence. I've always like declined Benko in different ways, with like b6 or knight c3. So my one game in this is lost. But philosophically, I don't like taking the Benko pawn and having to like play passively. I prefer to give the pawn back and try to play actively. Once you take on a6, you're like committed to rather restricted options, let's say. I just don't like giving my opponent like the initiative, you know, which it feels like you get in Benko accepted. Okay, bishop takes a6, knight c3, and now d6. I'm not sure about the move orders, right? I mean, a lot of people prefer to play like a lot of players prefer to play g6 here. I'm not an authority on the different kind of move orders. So bishop a6, knight c3, d6 is one example of that, probably. Like, can I get an f4 here? This is a high scoring variation. There are only 39 games. Harry Markerson and Dimitri. Try to blow the bank away, like e4, e5. Whereas, like, that move probably wouldn't be as effective against g6, I'm guessing. If we were to do, so here's a question, like, if black plays g6, right? Is this just a stupid move? Is this more of a stupid move now? Or is it just my imagination? I mean, so, okay, you have knight c3 first, right? Okay, knight c3, g7. This feels like, you know, the air out there. Goodman from 1977. I don't know. Somehow f4 is even more relevant. But anyways, I'm off track here. f4 is fun. You could do f4. Get the center rolling, man. I'm just giving you some ideas that might be a little bit crazy, but so f4 is an attempt to take the initiative into our own hands, you know. All right, so g3. I haven't played this variation before. Thought it looked cool. It's not. But yeah, who was it? Mentioned this like a couple weeks ago. I brought up the trainer. I'm trying to think. Oh man, come on, Shereshevsky. Shereshevsky had a book called, I mentioned it many times, The Soviet Chess Conveyor. And I'm thinking in The Soviet Chess Conveyor, Shereshevsky proposes some sort of knight might be mixing it up, you know, with something else. This variation has the highest score, you can see, but that's based on 17 games. I know all the secret moves, but not a lot of evidence to support that that's all that great. I mean, you can obviously play the next move, like bishop g2, bishop g7, knight h3. So I think this is a reasonable, excuse me, I think this is a reasonable Portish-Laish, reasonable alternative to kind of minimize. The only good thing about g3 is that you don't have to give up your right to castle. The problem is the g3 variations against the Benko are so feeble that even Garry Kasparov himself like was willing to play the Benko if he knew his opponents would like play g3. I think like Kasparov actually played the Benko against Topalov, if I'm not mistaken, and he beat him down. You know, he just like beat him down. This is a long time ago, but I mean, Garry Kasparov playing the black side of the Benko because his opponent plays like g3 type setup tells you something. I mean, it's just basically not that great for white. It's solid, yeah, but like boring. Okay, knight f3. Let's see what's up. There's a lot of theory though. If you want to be Really technical, probably white has some way to get a tiny edge somewhere. No guarantees. Laszlo Sabo against Saki. Ildar Ibragimov against Emery Tate. Emery Knight A8 Tate. Trip Slam. Knight B6, Knight A8. Knight's in the corner. Better than sex. But not to diss Emery. He loved the Benko. It looks like as is played here most commonly is a more active for the queen. The guy played queen c7. And now, yeah, rook b1, getting off long diagonal prophylactic. But it's not a lot of fun for white. Actually, Ildar lost against Tate in 2002. Not so promising. All right. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm not sure it makes that much difference queen a5 or queen c7. It does make a difference in one line. I mean, if your knight is needing to come through e8 to c7 to transfer to b5, that costs you. You know, you don't have a place to transfer the knight. Right, but I mean, this is probably an important moment where this move rook e1, which was more common than rook e1 is. It's considered better. Sabo Janos, not even a player who I knew of. Okay, e4. Right, knight g4 to the classic, and this is like what happened against Sparta. It was something like a knight coming into d3. Very, very similar. Instant compensation, and just like, I don't want to even see this anymore for white. Just too much fun for black with revolving pieces through d3. You really have to have a strong stomach to play these type of lines for white. Just not fun. It's less fun than playing the London system. So I think that, you know, Haberbaum should venture a different line. Rook fe8 and now queen c1. I'm seriously concerned about this. Like a fork on d3. I mean, what are you gonna do now? This is what happened. I guess I'm about to be in trouble. I think that's the difference between very strong players and like average players and beginners. Like the beginners have no clue, they're in trouble till they're all lost. The medium strength players are like realizing they're in trouble around the time when they're kind of in trouble already. And the really good players like see they're gonna be in trouble before they're in trouble. And so in this game, it looks like Haberbaum is kind of like at that point in the in-between stage. Like, yes, we have a problem, Houston, here. So, yes, this may be too late. This is very invasive. The only thing I don't like about black is rook e8. You know, that's something you don't really want to do if you don't have to. When he played rook e8, yeah, okay, so I'm going to suggest this. This is kind of a classic thing. If you get bishop takes e7, it's very possible you can trap the guy with like f6. But I think this is really dependent on the exact situation. Classic Benko bishop trap. White might be able to get out of it with something like e5. So you have to do a bit of homework and calculation to see if that like can really be yeah, the wolf. It's a Benko gambit. Happy Valentine Day wish. That's awesome. We got our first Happy Valentine wish. It's not Bob. That'd be disappointing if my only Happy Valentine wish was from Bob. Alright, f6. Yeah, this is a cool idea. And another move, well, if his rook was on b8, he could defend e7 by playing king f8, which wouldn't be that bad. Anyway, I like black better. I'm having fun. Hey, Rob's like, hey, I'm the one, I'm playing white. You're supposed to be helping me with ideas. Yeah, it's pretty awkward already. So we basically attacked with the rook. Black did. This is ugly, man. The diagonal here, the rook down, There's pieces coming into d3. This is basically why I don't play the Mako accepted with white pieces. This happens a lot. It's looking really nasty. The shredder. And black is basically a tempo down because he played rook e8 and rook e8 in 2 moves. So are there tactics here? I mean, did black play knight c4 too quickly? Because he also had the possibility of knight d3 or bishop d3. Maybe he pulled the trigger here on knight c4 too quick. Trigger happy. I think rook move's okay. This looks very awkward. Now your rook is basically down there. Maybe not the end of the world. But I'm thinking black has something better now. Yeah, rook b4. That's a classic move. But the knights are still good. Alright, but I just don't know what we're doing next. Rook b4, I guess, here. What's the next move? Knight take b2. We don't have any kind of tricks. Queen a5, maybe. Can we hang the a7 pawn? Yes, we can. So maybe here we just do this. You know, while we're wasting tempo, we might as well do it with the queen as well. Queen c7, queen a5 in 2 moves. What do you guys think? While we're waiting, guys, please support the stream. This is a little bit back to our subscribers, of course, but I appreciate donations. For the stream bits donations, we have the streaming donations. If you click on the pawn gift down below, you can donate via Streamlabs like Libro last week. An old-fashioned donation via PayPal is appreciated. Here we have the threat of knight takes b2, and this is looking pretty difficult for white to protect against. I mean, if it reaches the point where white has to play like literally knight to d1, kablam, triple exclam, queen e1 check, bishop f1, knight takes b2. All right. Recall from heaven. Or wait, where is he? He called me like that. But this is really. There's the mate, man. Ah, that feels good. Look at that position. Beauty of this. Man, oh man. Great game. But seriously, this did not happen. So, queen c1, rook a7. Yeah, that's kind of awkward. 4, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to play knight b5 and give a pawn back to neutralize the damage. I mean, white has knight b5 here. What the heck is going on? I don't understand. Guys, thanks for the donations. Merle, even JCS donated 100. What's up? JCS inspired. Activate with another 2 and JCS with 100. JCS. Alright, man. Our moderator's getting in the act. But knight b5 looks good. At the very minimum. Guys giving out Fallon's donations. So he played bishop f1 instead. I guess this is just a strong move, too. So black screwed up with rook a7, rook b7. This was silly. It was too fancy to play rook a7. Dun dun dun. He had to go back to a7. It looked good for black. He screwed it all up. And now b3. And white could even sack an exchange. Like, you could definitely sacrifice an exchange. If you get concrete control of b5, like sink a knight in there, protected by the bishop, we've already got a pawn. We'd have the bishop pair. Weak squares are on the back on the king side and the dark squares. I mean, this looks like definitely we could just sack in exchange. The maneuver is like rook a2. That's also Ashby's favorite maneuver. Now I think like king g2 might start to be an option. This, I guess, is okay. There's a check on f3. That's been taken care of. So basically, Haberbaum's really, really lucky that his opponent kind of dropped the ball at several points. And now Black is struggling to show compensation. I mean, knight b5, and it's closing the door, the trap door on the queen side. Bishop c1, get the rook great again. So rarely do we make our rooks great again. Knight d7. Yeah, I guess you can play knight b5. I mean, you might as well play bishop b2. He's really hesitating. I don't know, just can't drop this knight bomb on b5 here. I don't know why Haberbaum's hesitating so much on that. There it is. That's it, and that's a very good situation. Total transformation. And then white played b4. I don't think I like b4. Wow, move 11 just donated 1,095 bits to take the lead. 1,095. What's the significance of 1,095? I don't know, but he did it, so I don't care. That's his Valentine's Day gift to the stream. 1,095 bits. We got 2 green donators in the first few days of the stream. Actually, it's Thursday already. But anyways, great donation for 11, 1,095. Thank you, sir. So b4. It's not a terrible move. Why don't I like this move? I don't like b4 because our a4 pawn becomes not really secure anymore. You know what I mean? We have really no liabilities here. He can't b3. And a4 is secure, b5 is secure. So I think white is better off doing nothing on the queen side. Just like, hey, we got that. It's all set. The queen side's like just money in the bank. And now we're going to turn our attention to the king side. It's like, hey, black doesn't have the Benko play. Now we just turn our attention to the king side, roll him on the king side with a slow build-up. And we're just going to like take advantage of the fact that he has like weaknesses all around the king side. So this is a position where white will transfer to playing on the king side. Actually, it was JCS that sent him on tilt. Thanks, JCS. Thanks, Move 11. You absolutely inspired. You inspired Move 11. Absolutely. But yeah, this is a great turnaround by white. I don't like b4 though. It's not terrible. But Move 11 with another 245. Red badge earned. The red badge of courage. Queen takes b4, rook takes b4. Now here I think I'm looking at rook c4. But I'm a little bit afraid that this whole b4 business is going to leave us in an endgame where it's like hard to win. Because 2 rooks for both sides kind of gives us quite a bit of draw ability. And now he's on that. Yeah. I think he let it go. He let it go. Now there's even danger we could lose. Because if we lose the A-pawn, now our structure's gone. We lost an important cog in our whole central structure. It would be tragic if white lost this game. At this point. Knight c3. What? Interesting. Okay, so he does force an exchange of 1 set of rooks, which I think increases the value of the outside pawn. Stopping the only chance there. You might consider just like king 3 here. He can't really take. I'm not sure that e6 is that great. He did play king e3. Nice move. With the idea of king 4. Move 11, thank you for supporting the stream, man. Move 11 out in first place with 1340 bits. And with 1,000. Asterbay keeps the commercials coming. So king f6, king d4. Uh-oh. We have a plan. At first I thought the knight was going to c4, but he's keeping the free for his king. So this is quite an interesting game. And now e takes d5 to try to distract him. There's a temptation to just go anyway, 5, but alright. Let's take the pawn. So at this point, white stands better. Better king, outside pawn. I'm not sure if he should make that exchange on d5 or not. Do we have rook b1 now? Knight a5, rook a1. I mean, the problem is essentially rook b1, king c1. Black's probably holding on. Interesting lines, though. Rook b1, king 6. Let's take a look at this. That looks really, really problematic. Maybe it's... Man, it's going to take a lot of calculation to say if this is Zhuang or not. It's close. I mean, we've like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves. Let me see what's going on here in this ending. Waiting according to the engine. That didn't take long. I mean, if the computer figures out to win that fast, that's not good for black. So we might have rook b1 there. Wow. Does black have an alternative defense? I missed something. Knight takes a5. Uh-oh. Rook a1. Oh my god, no. He has this. That's why you got a blunder check here, analysis. It just doesn't work. C6 isn't working. That sucks. If we can't play rook b1, it's hard to make progress. So we played check here. And he just went back. Oh, black's like playing for a win here? I mean, what? So check here, here. Like, in the right mind plays king d7 and like offers a draw, but black to play king c, knight c5. Like knight c5 is... What is that, like losing? Playing for the loss with knight takes d6. I think I'm really seeing knight takes d6 here, right? I mean, I guess maybe 3, but that's not really good. We got f7. It doesn't matter though. I mean, knight b5 check. So, white's at least okay here. Okay, guys. We'll move it along here. C2 was played. That's change everything. Wait, knight takes a5. So now black can play knight takes a5. He doesn't see the work. Now he did this. Oh man. Yeah, he didn't see the tactic we saw before, basically. Rook c6. Oh no. So white has at least a draw with rook takes b7 check. No, I'm lying to you. Well, white's better after rook takes b7 check, knight takes c6 check, knight takes f7. But I guess he's not winning. Rook takes b7, king b7, knight d6, king c7, f7. is interesting. Z Nation Chess managed to find a GM who either doesn't play much bullet or has a bad connection. I like the people who used to like have finger notes on chess sites and be like listing all the GMs they beat in bullet. All right, dude, close this window, please. So rook c6, rook b5, rook a6, rook b6, rook b6, a b6, king d7. And this is the same winning position we looked at a minute ago, where the engine said +3. This shouldn't have happened, but you got lucky. That's why knight in games, it's like Zugzwang. But I'm not sure about knight e3. I mean, why don't we just like immobilize that first? Does anybody understand? Well, like if we play f4 first? This is basically the perfect knight endgame. It's just over. So you played knight e3. I don't think that's a good move. There's no reason to allow that, you know? It's still probably winning. What? 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 He wants to do it that way? What are you doing? B7, that's like your most valuable asset. No, it's okay to be proud of the first GM you beat. In any time control. Knight takes f3. Oh my god, now it's just like a dead draw. That's so sad. I mean, there are ways that one side could win or lose here. In. The Wesley So endgame technique here. This is not the ideal assortment of pawns to have. We don't really want to have pawns like that. So he's got your knight tied down now. He's going to creep back. And this is probably a draw. Yeah, it's a draw now. Draw. Draw. Draw.
Well, yes.
Oh, man. All right. That was back and forth. Thank you for the game. Interesting. A lot to take away from that. We've got Nefedov next. Welcome to our stream, guys. We're analyzing serious games played by our subscribers. Why are we so serious? Go ask Mark Esserman. Okay. Nefedov is up next. We've got Nefedov here. From your most recent simul, Mr. Nefedov, make me analyze my own games. Move 11 is the bits leader for today, for this week, actually. Move 11, 1340. Thank you, sir, for supporting the stream. Thanks to all you guys. Sparkle Horse 19, Centipon lost. Nefedov 14. He just wants to show off. So Pavel was black in one of these Geller Gambits. I wanted to play, you know, something sharp against a solid player. So this is probably not the first time I've done this. I was just thinking about something though. I mean, can you play Queen C2 here? That's kind of a weird move. But yeah, it's just kind of a weird move to play right away unprovoked. Alright, E4, B5, and then, I mean, the theory here is pretty immense. The theory with E5. But Queen C2 is more rare. Okay, guys, back to work. So the Geller Gambit with Queen C2 against Nefedov here. Something I might have played once before. Not a very common system. You'll see only 18 games here. Simon Kim Williams. Simon Kim. 2 games by Bosboom. 3 games, so it's like the Bosboom variation. Okay, E6. Bishop E2, Korchnoi, Morovich, Fernandez. That's cool. Very little known variation, basically. I know to play Bishop E2 and castles, but at this point, after Nefedov plays knight on BD7, I really had a hard time. I think I spent a lot of time here thinking about what to do. Man. What is White's best move? I literally played the one move that apparently somebody won with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, and only one of them White won with the move that I played. But I'm not convinced by Rook D1. I don't even know what it does. Abasov against Boglan, whoever that is. Abasov is actually... Well, this is a 2018 game. That's crazy. Nefedov's move clearly better than this guy. Boglan played h6, a weakening of the king side for no apparent reason. Obviously a great idea. Bishop g5 and bishop f4 actually covered in Abruk. This random position. What, are you serious? Are you sure you're talking about the same position? Dude, there's like no games. There's a couple games. Okay, he threw some games in there. I mean, there's basically... He doesn't have any material to basically present here. You got a variation with like 7 or 8 games or 10 games. Yeah, I don't understand what bishop f4 does. And bishop g5 looks a little bit better. But I think that basically I don't think White has anything. I mean, this move is more interesting, actually doing something. But I'm afraid of b4. Yeah, this is interesting. This appears interesting. Are these correspondence games? Check this out. Like bishop g5. Smells like correspondence. Alright, anyways, let's go back to the game. So rook d1 here. All business. Now I played a4. Transposing to an Alexander Galkin game where Galkin won with black against the 2300. Pretty much standard. Well, I'm not so worried about the black nuggets on the queen side, somewhat unsound. I'm more concerned about like what White's plan is to undertake pretty much anything. Bishop e7, bishop g5, Clovis Vernet. We transpose to another game where this, I don't know, is that guy French or Belgian? I think he's French. Bishop g5, yeah, h6, so Nefedov novelty, theoretical novelty, 11 h6. But there's nothing wrong with the guy's castles, I think. Again, a case of White winning because he's the higher rated player. Bishop h4, castles. And we've got, of course, every time it's Hungarian. Csaba Cizar playing the white piece against Marian Kantorik. This is played in 2009. Czaba's a good player. e5. Knight d5. This is exactly the same game from Cizar versus Kantorik. Knight d5, probably like Slovakian team championship or something. Knight to d5, bishop takes e7. So what are we doing here? Csaba played bishop g3. I mean, that move is sick, dude. Wow. I mean, bishop g3, it's the worst bishop in the world. I've lost games because of bishops like that. I couldn't bring myself to play that. I think that Cizar's, if you want to call it plan, is something like knight e4, knight to d6. There's no way I would play that move. The rook d1 seems to have gained a little in popularity. The lichess database is very incomplete compared to ChessBase. Yeah, Z Nation Chess, because ChessBase is putting in games from 1600s from the Sri Lankan Under 6 Championship. But I mean, basically, the lichess database is pared down where it's like only quality games. The games in ChessBase are just like random people, you know. They played it in the pub in like, you know, like pub league Wales, 1984, 1200 versus like 700 or something. There are some games that are missing, but most of the important ones are in here. It's not like it's a variation, you know, that's like, this is not a variation like Rook D1. You might find one or two games where like an 1800 played against a 2000 player or something. There might be some old games that are forgotten. That's more of a bigger problem, I think. Like old games that were forgotten from the 1960s or 50s or something. That's one thing that bothers me. A6, yeah, anyway, we're here with Chabachazar playing Bishop G3, which is a sick move. I mean, I wouldn't even consider it. But he's a good player. He's kind of uncompromising. That's an uncompromising move. I would not do that to my bishop. So in both cases, the engine doesn't think that, you know, white is okay here. According to Stockfish, white is just down a pawn. And it's a question of Chaba, like, just basically betting on outplaying this guy. Somehow he lost anyway to a 2350. But I don't like it. I played a better move. Okay, here, knight e4. At least this is a plan to put a knight on d6. And then knight f4 I thought was a little off the map here by Nefedov. He should really be playing for c5 if he can get it. Nefedov, was there something wrong with c5 now that I look at this position from black's perspective? c5, knight d6, bishop c6, and maybe he just holds everything together. That's his best move, so Nefedov missed c5. No, but we talked about the Abbasov game already, and it wasn't with Rook d1, it was something else. Oh yeah, well that's the only game, right? But his opponent played something stupid. It was like h6, so immediately the game loses like all theoretical value when black plays h6 there. The best move according to Stockfish. I don't think so. I just don't think that h6 is the best move. I think it's a weakening of the black king side, and it's unnecessary. But anyways, I don't think we'll see a lot of repeat of that move. Right, so here, e5, here. He missed c5. And Nefedov trades like his knight for the bishop. My bishop wasn't that great anyway. So he goes in kind of defensive mode, a little too passive. This was a really upsetting moment for me because I thought, oh, everything's all set, you know, everything's set. I'll just defend, I'll have some threats, but then I suddenly realized he has tactics against e4. I think h6 just generally like lessens black's flexibility, and you know, there may not be like a concrete g4 g5 like move 11 said, but it's other things. Like if you play h6, then you can't play f6 without drastically weakening your king side. There may be a sacrifice on h6. I mean, there's a number of things. So I decided to try this, and then I was like, oh, this sucks, I have to defend d4. So I trade this off. I feel like Nefedov would let me get away with something now. He missed a chance to play c5 earlier on, and now it's just kind of, I'm tied down to d4, but he has that really nasty knight he has to live with on c5. So I mean, how's he going to triple attack my d4 pawn? He can't triple on the pawn. So I think it's kind of close to equal. I don't know why I played knight e4 now. I'm going backwards. I mean, I just should offer a draw here. At this point, I think I have nothing. Realistically, I went for this, but it's making c5 playable. At this point, I might be lost again, but Nefedov fails to... Oh, he does play c5. Okay, I thought he failed to play it again. No, he did play it. Okay, yeah, I gave him this chance. This was stupid. So he gets to play c5, and now he gets out of it, but he takes on e5. I guess I expected him to take here, which looks like lower risk for Nefedov to take on c5. I don't know why he took on e5, letting me keep the c5 pawn. Technically, I guess he's winning, but he was low on time. And like the engine says that black is winning, but I don't think it's that easy. And I hated f5. I think f5 is a very bad move. Necessarily getting less options to play f6 and the e5 square. So perhaps, I don't know what my computer would say here. Exactly the same evaluation. Rook d8, clear advantage to black. I mean, I think it's kind of exaggerated. +2. Black still has a lot of work to do. I would say like plus 1.5 or something like that. Not quite winning. Yeah, bishop e7 is much better than h6. It's developing a piece without weakening the position. I mean, how could it not be better? Queen c7. He agreed to a draw here, but he's technically better. He's up pawn. But it's hard. After playing f5, I thought, you know, he's got a really weak square on e5. Okay, so good game, Nefedov, who played like a monster, as usual. Let's see what we got for time, guys. We've got about an hour left in the stream, so I've got games from Alms, Merle, Move 11, Yabatis. Is that right? Yeah, Alms, Merle, and Move 11, and Yabatis. All right, Alms is up next. I sent you my last game from Lone Wolf. Okay. This is a cool tournament if you guys don't have time to play. I know Move 11 has played in this as well. It's like an online tournament. So if you need practice playing in the 45-45 league or playing in the Lone Wolf tournament, which is what it says, it's like a Lone Wolf tournament. A good way to substitute for playing like tournament games. Very solid performance by Nefedov. He says Rook d8, Rook d7, Rook c7 is a plan to pick off my c5 pawn. If he had time, I mean, clearly he would be playing for a win there. But I mean, this game kind of confirms my feelings about this whole variation is not really that good for white. I think the whole Geller Gambit, you know, eventually in 50 years when computers just refute chess, I mean, the Geller Gambit will be out of business. Any kind of gambits that are not like fully based on positional factors will be refuted. The end of chess. Maybe we'll have to play Chess 960 alone. Okay, Alms is up next. Let's do this. So, thanks for the stream. Oh my god, check this out, guys. Check this out. So it's Alms against Tushar. Where's Bob? Bob, are you in the house? Your old friend. It's Alms against Tushar 2008. Now, I'm assuming that, you know, Tushar is like some soap opera star in India, first of all, I think. But it's probably a name that like multiple people have. We had this guy on my stream regularly, Tushar. Anyways, even when chess is solved by a computer, no human will be able to learn all the variations. Well, this is true. But it further confirms my opinion about these shaky gambits. You know, where we don't really have quite enough compensation. Harder and harder to play this type of stuff as the defense gets better. Tushar 2008. Okay, so Alms is black. Correct? Correct. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6. So Alms is pretty good. 2114. BB5. We got some lag going on still, man. Really bad. 239 ping. That's a great ping. In Hungary, my ping is like 75 or something. Alright, let's see what we got. Knight F6, castles, main line. And he plays D6. So Chigorin variation. It's funny how this has become like almost the main line of the closed Rue Lepez, because when I was really coming up, Karpov was playing everything else but knight a5. Karpov played the Breyer variation, especially the Zaitsev. You just never saw knight a5. Knight a5 was under a cloud for like 20 years. And then recently, in the last 10 years, it's come back as a... Well, Nefedov, yeah, but I mean, half the world plays the Spanish. So it's really like... As far as I remember, Tushar had a left arm. Feeding the paranoia. Okay, knight a5, bishop c2. Like, Swayton talks about the Spanish as like the most important opening. You know, like the most important opening you can study. Fundamentally. Bishop c2, c5 here. d3. So he plays quietly. I've played this too. And it's like Smyslov style, you know, very safe. You're going to play it more like a Joko piano with white. Nubo coming out by Sokolov on the Chigorin in March. Sokolov is Ivan, a prominent chess author, a very strong player. I've probably played this position for white in some online games. Yeah, Swayton wrote a whole book in the Spanish. Of course, Nefedov, you know, it's one of those... I have it in the bathroom. I have the shelf of reading material in the bathroom in Budapest, and there's like all these old books that are just sitting on a shelf. You can read whenever you want to. And the Swayton book on the Spanish is not the book I was talking about, but it's one of those Schockverlag, or what's it called? Is it Schockverlag? The German published books from the 80s, basically? Yeah. So one of those classic hardcover books. It's totally out of date, but yeah, he was an expert. Okay, so knight b6, knight g3. I guess this is all normal. At this point, I think... I don't play black in these lines, but my intuition is to play g6. The question is, can we afford to weaken the king side? I don't know. You know, look at g6, it's been played in 5 games. Black's done all right with it. The sample size is like not significant. Rook e8 is a totally normal move. In the event of knight f5, we play bishop f8, we lock it down. Bishop e6 is a move. That's the move our hero here played. The difference is that after bishop e6, knight f5, what are we doing? You know? So, this is a continuation. There's only 2 games with knight f5. But I think that move makes some sense. Harriet Hunt and some other guy I've never heard of. In both cases, black played bishop takes f5. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that bishop takes f5 is mandatory. You know, you'd rather trade your other bishop, your other brother Daryl. My other brother Daryl, my brother Daryl, and my other brother Daryl. So I don't think that I like trading bishop takes f5 if I don't have to in that variation. But the other way is awkward. I mean, obviously, like bishop f6 is awkward. All right. So that's the question that has to be answered, right? Bishop f5, knight f5. Sorry, bishop e6, knight f5. Let's see. Bishop f5, ef5. So what's the idea here? Harriet Hunt against David Howell from 2009. And the engine still thinks that white is like a fraction better. So that's an interesting possibility. Nefedov says the queen should be on c7 in normal Chigorin. Well, that's a different variation, man. I mean, you know, that's the way Keres played it. It's absolutely another line. But that's in the normal variation with d4. You know, that's different. I mean, here, white didn't play d4, so we don't necessarily have to put the queen anywhere. It is the best square, though it could go to d7. So let's see. Here we are. Bishop e6, bishop e3. This is a move I don't really like. You know, it's just kind of like, well, strangely placed there to me. It's exposed to attack and stuff. So I'm not sure. Knight h2, that looks like a normal move. We're planning knight g4, maybe queen f3, People play d4, the delayed d4. Okay, this is a weird move. Now black played d5. I like it. You know, I don't see any reason not to play d5. He basically induced it. And now white plays d4. Interesting. cd4, cd4. Knight c4, going after the valuable bishop. Knight takes e5. Knight takes e5. Which knight are we taking with here? I mean, this knight is doing a lot of work. It seems strange to take with the c4 knight on e5 now. Looks like he's planning something concrete, like taking on e5, then playing d4. But what is white doing after? What is black doing after, like, bishop f4 there? So this is like a key position. The engine wants to take the other way, which is what I would have done. And maybe we even sack a pawn, you know, if necessary. Let's see. But this just feels intuitively right. I mean, we have two bishops that are looking really good, both directions. Even if we lose a pawn, you know, screw it. What we have these great bishops. Rook takes e3. Here we have to start calculating. I don't know. Is it enough compensation? Can we do something like d4? Will this just massive armada of pawns crush black eventually? There's a lot of questions to answer. But anyways, I don't think this is clearly the right move, you know? And if that's the case, then probably we should have thought longer about this situation. I don't like playing knight c4 and then taking on e5 with a c4 knight. It doesn't seem right. So here I assumed his idea was to play d4. That's what he did. White missed something. Knight takes e5. Knight takes e5. Okay, so the computer is saying there's some in-between move here. So obviously white is not an engine or something. It's not like R2 char. White is definitely human, failing to miss like some sort of in-between move. Further refuting knight takes e5 as not really good for black. I think we did this. We need to take that bishop out on e3. If we're going to take the time to like invest all that momentum and then, oh, we're not going to take the bishop on e3. I mean, even taking the pawn on b2 is tempting, but that seems kind of too materialistic. So not surprisingly, white had a chance there. d4. So yeah, I mean, I don't get this move, bishop d2. Obviously, you play bishop f4, and you make black do something insane, like, hey, g5, that's a good move, right? If black has to play g5 to get the pawn back, then he's going to have to weaken his king, and white has something really concrete. You know, if you're afraid of ghosts, then maybe you don't do this. But I think at the end of the day, this is a very risky move for black. To give up h5, give up f5, just to get this pawn back. You know, it's a serious question, ultimately. You know, who's getting the better out of this? I don't think I could play g5. You know, I would probably look for alternatives for black here. On the other hand, I mean, you've got to watch out for this anyway. This could be like, I remember this game where Erdos Victor was playing, he was playing a strong player, I think Chopra from India, and the dude just stuck a knight on f5 at one moment that it didn't look like he could do that, you know. But basically this type of sacrifice, the in-your-face knight sacrifice, that looks like the, you know, the move that could take out a 2600. I mean, seriously, I don't know. This looks brutal. Positional piece sacrifice with knight f5. I wouldn't want any part of this with black. But anyways, you're probably better off just like playing rook e8, you know, and who knows, retreating your bishop or something. Maybe we can live with the knight on d4. Excuse me, f5. It's really bad, though. You're supporting d6. Maybe at the end of the day, black does have to do g5. That's probably the truth of the situation. But the whole position is dubious for black. So, all right. I I like your comment there, Move 11. He's fighting with one arm tied behind his back. Yeah. One hand. So d4, bishop d2. Just letting black take the pawn back without a fight, first of all. And then secondly, letting this pawn be a free-range chicken. I think that's a dangerous idea. So he's got like 2 good moves now. Knight takes e5, f4, and then we're just in random land with bishop h4. Okay. I was just thinking here, but then he's got f5, so... Okay, I'm trying to get my bearings. What's happening now? It's looking like a reasonable move. Bishop h4. Basically, white screwed up. You know, he took a good position, and now he's not better anymore. The position has gotten out of control, and black's fairly active. So knight c4 again. I mean, I'd be happy to sack an exchange for black if I had really good pieces. So you would consider something like cool here. Along the lines of maybe like queen b8. Can we target the f4 pawn? He does something different. He played this. Fascinating move. This is pretty simple though. I guess it's just good. So he does sack the exchange. It's very invasive. I don't know if it's mandatory. Looks like knight e3 is a good move. Rook takes, pawn takes. And this is just meltdown. Bishop pair looks brutal. The white king is actually very exposed. The pawn on e3 is a thorn. Black's like winning. I mean, I'm surprised that you took with the king here. I really don't see any reason for the black player to take with their king, unless there's some tactical reason why they have to do that. Why not take with the queen in this position? Less danger. The queen's still very, very useful here. This looks good. So let's see. Last note. Stockfish likes the king better after a kind of shallow analysis. Looks safer to take with the queen. Plus keeping the queens on. I mean, I don't think that's a big problem. You know, I don't think that white is going to take here, trade queens, because the control of the d-file would be so devastating for white. You know, to lose control of the d-file is pretty devastating. It's like they're almost like their rooks facing off on the d-file. This is a totally natural move. White has queen g4, apparently. So I don't know. If black's winning here, it's some very fancy trick. Something like takes, suck the king out, and then play a check, and then force the king to f3. I mean, I don't see the end of the line, basically. Like, you can do this, sure, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. But I still don't see the denouement here. Just a second. Be back, guys. They're calling for Donald Trump for my mom. I think the guy must think I'm trolling him. I was like, I'm sorry, my mom has Alzheimer's disease. She's not going to be voting next time. He must think I trolled him. Sometimes the truth is a troll. Okay, king g3, king f3 here. This is a cool line. But the engine was like recommending king g4. That's computer stuff. Even if we don't make the best move, it doesn't seem like this is something you could figure out like comprehensively as winning for black. So he doesn't do it. He played queen c7. And now the line is simply taking on c2, but we're kind of paying the price for the king now. Wow, look at this move, rook c8. This is 30-30, rated classical, excuse me. Rook c8. So queen takes c2, pawn takes e6. You know, black judged that all of a sudden, wait, my king is kind of out there in the open. That's difficult to stomach as well. Alright, queen c7. Queen g4, bishop takes g3, queen takes g3, rook c8. Now white could play e5 if you really wanted to be a pest. What happens on e5? Alright. No. This is interesting. Let's check. Yeah, not so clear. It's pretty messy. So there was no like really winning clear move. Totally human play by both sides. Bishop d3, queen takes g3 check, king takes. So it's an endgame now. Rook d8 looks interesting. That's what he played. Yeah, we want to get the rook on the 7th here. We don't want to lose our pawn on e3. The nightmare is almost happening now. That pawn just falls and we're like, oh my god. Okay, we have to play rook d2. King f3 I was expecting. I can't believe he didn't play king f3. It does two things at once. You're like defending your bishop and attacking the pawn on e3. So white's completely okay on that. This move only serves one purpose. It also doesn't keep the pawn blockaded. I mean, you want to keep the pawn blockaded. So king f3 is a clear improvement. This is a bad move. Bishop c4, the pawn's not blockaded. The king's not closer to the center. b3, bishop d3, king f4. He got that close. And now this move here, rook, what are we doing? What are we doing, kids? Rook takes a2, OMG. That, I didn't look ahead at the game score. I had to find this on my notes. But rook takes a2, oh no. That's a nice move. Keeping the chances alive. Very nice, sir. Rook c2? I was looking at rook c2 here. Thematic. Then our bishop is trapped. That sucks. Our bishop is trapped if we play that. Okay, so here, and now bishop takes e4. Another tactic. I mean, it's very tempting to play bishop takes b3. But then these pawns become kind of dangerous, and the black king can get in a kind of mating net, it looks like. So this is actually a much safer move by black to play bishop takes e4. So there's no mating nets with e5. All rook endgames are drawn. If you take back on b5, king takes e4, rook takes g2, it's probably enough activity for white to draw. And now it's just like a theoretical draw. I don't know why I feel drawn to this side with king f6, because I want to get closer at this point. I think that black should play king f6 to stay closer to their pawn. Their pass pawn. You know, you'd want to like have the king united with the pass pawn. Anyways, okay, it's probably a draw. But it's like alms went the wrong way with the king. I mean, you need to to basically shepherd this pawn, you're going to need anything you've got to do that. So he went the wrong direction with the king. I mean, it's still probably a draw anyway, but it's like he's trying to get mated too. At this point, you should bail out. Let it go to the other side. All right, it's just a draw. Anyway, interesting game. Lots going on there. Guys, we don't have too much time left. Basically, like 35 minutes in the stream. So I've got Friday stream tomorrow. Don't forget. It'll be 12:30. 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. We're playing Fast Friday Blitz with all viewers who have established accounts. 5+3. Okay, so we got Merle, Move 11, and Yabatis. All these guys to do. Merle is next. Dear Master, I rushed to get a game for analysis and my play suffered. Oh no. Merle, the non-perfect play. His center pawn loss must have like been near 20. Frantic Slacker against Serene Master. Alright. The Frantic Slacker played the London system. No more London systems allowed. Take care, someone on sound. We'll see you later. It's Sunday Simul. Maybe before that. Slacker. Thanks, guys, for supporting the stream. Move 11, Noodle, Merle Dixon, Jim, Spectacular Camel, Asterbait, Alms, and JCS. Alms, who we just analyzed his game. So thank you, guys. The top 8 for this week. All right. I'm getting hungry. We got 3 more games to do. Then dinner. D4, Knight F6. The London. I don't think I like, I don't know, playing d6 too early unless you're going to play it like a like old Indian. If you're going to play the King's Indian, as he does here, then you might as well just hold off on d6 and play c5 or something. Or play d6 later. I just don't see the advantage of this move right away. But basically, Merle's playing like a really conservative formation here now. You see Knight c3. I mean, this is the Jabava. Yabava. How do they say it in his country? Yabava. Jojo. The Knight c3 has got to be more aggressive. That's not Merle's style. He's playing the old school. The old school London system. He's been playing this all his life. Since the 80s. Bishop b2, c5, c3. Knight c6, castles, cd4, cd4. Oh no. cd4, turning the stomach. Knight c3 interesting against d5. Definitely move 11. It's a kind of Verisov. Stomach turning, c takes d5. You know, the one thing in Merle's defense is that he has the c3 square. Merle the Octomom. So, I guess that's some kind of justification for this pathetic c takes d4. Very frustrating to play against that. Yeah, I mean, you get symmetrical structure. I mean, how the heck can black play for an edge against that, you know? Very frustrating. You see all these games, people winning with white. Like, in probably every case, they won because black was, like, so angry and pissed off and frustrated that they wanted to try to desperately win too hard. Notice this first game, higher rated player with black, lost. Second game, higher rated player with black, lost. Third game, lower rated player with black, lost. Fourth game, higher rated with black player, draw. So I think in most cases, it's like lower rated players, you know, just playing this and frustrating their opponents to the point where they overextend themselves. Knight d5 is interesting. Following this Yankovic game, I beat him once in Novi Gorica. Knight d5, bishop g3, e5. Okay, e5 is kind of weird. I would actually consider, I mean, I've seen Morozevich play the white side of these sort of positions. Like, normally you see, like, f5 at some point. Hold on. Just 1 second, guys. We'll be right back. So I don't know. Somehow for me, e5 is kind of a slightly weird thing to do now. I think a plan where you're playing f5, king h8, maybe h6, more like a Dutch. Rauf Mamedov played bishop f5 here. Well, whatever you play, I mean, I guess f5 immediately might have some sort of tactical problem. Let's see. Queen b3, bishop c4. Immediately has problems. Okay, so we can't do that. Well, I mean, I'm really not sure I'm on board with knight d5 in the first place. You know, I think that's premature. Yeah, if he wants to play e5, I mean, probably that doesn't mix with knight d5 so much. All right, let's turn this off. So, okay, we did that. We did this. The white squares just look a little bit weak. I'm not sure if this is the best for white either. Not sure about e4. I'll turn off the oracle. Exchange Slav. This is like the safest way to play for white. Just challenge the strong knight on d5. Even the structure is like very durable. Even this would be like the knight from hell on d4. Despite the inferior structure, white is not worse here under any circumstances. Alright, so Merle e4. This lets black play knight f4, and I feel like he's okay after that. Like white might actually have an advantage. I mean, black might actually have an advantage after this. So it seems like you misplayed it. Now bishop c4. I was thinking maybe just knight c3. Definitely taking on f4 is bad, right? I mean, the bishop becomes a monster. So you messed this up pretty good. Bishop c4. I'm a little bit worried about development. Queen e7. Bang. You're into c3. You're into d5. Black needs something fast. This is the trade the bad bishop off. Trade our good bishop for a bad bishop. Trade our good bishop that's not developed for a bad bishop that's developed. I guess it makes some sense. Okay, bishop c4. Here's where you consider taking with the pawn. Schlechter would play like e, you know, f takes e here, but fm might not be advanced enough for that. I don't mind f takes e. I think I strongly might play that. Superior according to Stockfish. So this is the kind of move that takes experience. We don't know what kind of FM this is though. Is that one of those like lifelong FMs who was like 2,500 US, or is this one of those FMs who's like, you know, never really reached 2,300 for more than one game and then slid down to like 2,120 FIDE or something like that? It depends on what kind of FM we're talking about, because the gap with FM is like there are people who are FMs who are extremely weak, and there are people who are FMs who are like grandmaster strength or have been. F takes E is just a much better move. I would have definitely considered that. Queen takes, no. Now white has the d5 square. I think that white is slightly better. You could actually play that right away. I mean, that looks like pretty good. Here, developing your pieces, getting the rook to the d file. So only white is slightly better. A6, okay. And then Merle goes into like Hoover mode. But I mean, I think that truthfully, he may have missed his window to play knight d5 there earlier. If we go back a minute, right here. Is there a problem? Do you have a problem with me? So maybe this isn't so good because he has time for rook d8, actually. If we look a little deeper. Perhaps, though, rook d8, bishop takes f4, pawn takes f4, and suddenly it's a different ball game. I mean, maybe white can really live with that, the strong knight there. You could play even along those lines. I don't know. Alright, so he's basically just equalized. Let me guess. Draw. 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 Maybe Merle is Nefedov's alter ego. Knight h5. What? That's kind of weird to play knight h5. Petrosian would let black take here on g3. I don't think knight h5 is a threat. It's like I'm going to decentralize my knight now. Okay. I don't even know if this is. as a good thing for black to take that, but maybe. Okay, here. Here. That's a crazy move to have to make that retreat. I would strongly consider perhaps something like queen d3, just strengthening f3. Again, I don't know. We might start to have problems now, making this guy look like a genius. So, how about knight c2? Can we play that? Challenging the strong knight on d4? f3 looks to really weaken the king side. Okay. We got out of danger. Stabilized the position. White is still equal. Draw land. It's like draw land now. White's playing for more than a draw. Oh no. Symmetrical knight endgame. It should be a draw. Anything can happen. Alright, that's it. Definitely a draw. Okay, guys, we have time for 2 games left. Our last 2 for tonight. Move 11 and Yabatis. Let me close out these others. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Tell your friends about my stream. Our viewer numbers are down. And I'm getting angry. Hold on a second. Last 2 games, guys. We'll be moving to Budapest next week, so we're going to be down from Monday through Friday. Okay, guys, last 2 games quickly here. Move 11. What's up? The last most exciting draw is Delacorta donated 200 bits and I left the stream. Thank you, sir. Alright, Serene Master. Interesting moments there. Interesting moments. Let's do the last 2. Move 11. You want to submit it win game with black in the Grob. Last game in study. Beating the Grob. Alright, let's see. So I recommend this is our sort of anti-Grob theory with Roman. Roman and I decided on e5 followed by knight e7, knight g6. But I had a game here with somebody. I can't remember who it was now. Like a 2100 player that was on my stream. And he tricked me. He didn't play bishop g2. Which allows like knight here, knight here, knight here. I think he tricked me and did like c4 first. And I think this move is actually better. There's a game there, Vachier-Lagrave against Jeffrey Zhang. So I think by doing this move order where you play c4, e5, g4, you kind of like take the sting out of knight e7. But anyway, that's just an interesting concept. d5, a different move, also good. Bishop g2, c6. So, but this is like some Grob theory probably. They do like c4 anyway. No. Years ago I had a Grob. Oh right, where you grab the pawn. This is Grob theory. Like take c4. Key Grob theory. I think I tried to do this once a million years ago in a game in Vegas in the National Open. Maybe I won, but I was flying by the seat of my pants. Guys, everybody, welcome to the stream. We're analyzing subscriber games. This is our last 2 for tonight. but a strong player here. Move 11. Future candidate master. So g4, d5, bishop g2, c6. A very solid approach. And now h3. And now, I mean, white also could play maybe g5, but I think h3 is probably more correct. And now e5 to e3. I don't know what this is. My friend Mark Quinn, back in 95, before I even knew him, Irish international master, played bishop d6. e3 is strange, but I mean, everything is strange. It's the Grob. You got to do something. And if c4 is out, I think that d3, though, from my perspective, that seems a bit more normal. Bent Larson against Garcia Palermo. 2008. That has to be like one of Larson's last games. Larson probably died in like 2010, 2009. When did Larson pass away? All right, is Yabatis here? Camel, are you here? Any other Danes in the stream? Alexander Reprintsev, specialist in weird openings. So e5, e3. I don't like it as much as d3. 97. 97 itself like does seem kind of committal too. Okay, here Sharkima. Thanks guys for joining me. Bishop d6. This is a bit weird for move 11. I mean, you're basically, if you're anticipating that, you know, you got to be ready to meet it. So he did that. He played 97. Maybe this isn't bad. d3. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, you might have considered, when he plays e3, I mean, I think you should consider converting to a fianchetto setup. If you see the knight is coming Pavel Blatny style here, I mean, you're probably thinking maybe a g6, bishop g7 might be a good option as well. You see what he's trying to do. Obviously, you played 97. Move e7. Alright, Move e7 donated 1,340 bits to the stream today. So I want to thank him for a Valentine's gift. And this is his game. Move e7. Queen c7. Spectacular Camel. Good thing that my game is last one. Just got home. Well, actually, Spectacular Camel, I wanted to ask you when Larson died. As a Danish chess player, you should know. We saw a game. He played this Grob with... He died in 2010, according to Delacorte. Okay. So that was like one of his last tournaments, probably. 2008. He was reduced to playing the Grob. He was bored. D3, Queen c7. You were what? Overly hesitant to castle kingside. Yeah, well, I wouldn't be real hurried to castle kingside either. You'd be castling into a potential pawn storm. He's better developed on the kingside, so it does seem kind of weird to castle kingside. But I think that staying flexible makes a lot of sense. I mean, why is Queen c7 dubious? It's not a very exciting move, but it's one of many like kind of neutral moves you could play here. E4. So this is like catastrophic, I think, for white in terms of weakening the dark squares. It also kind of wastes time. He's moved e3, e4 in 2 moves. The question is, do you take, do you push, do you maintain the tension? Can you play like g6 just to keep that knight off of f5? I would seriously consider this move, because I so much don't want a knight to come into f5 or h5. And then you've got, I mean, the truth is you've got knight f8, knight e6, knight f4. If you can get it, that's the problem with white's position. You can find a permanent hole on f4. At some point, that's what's going to sink him strategically. So g6 is something to seriously consider. And you've got time. Actually, knight f8 would be a great way to meet, like, bishop h6, you know, here, here. And bishop g7, rook g8, what are you doing, man? You know, bishop f6, knight e6, have a nice trip there. I mean, I have no idea. This is looking pretty good if we can get a knight on f4. Okay, guys, we're down to our last 2 games. d4 was the choice, closing the center. e4, d4, knight d2. Still, you have the f4 square, so there's nothing wrong with this. Knight f8, he finds the maneuver. Knight f3, knight e6, good job. Castles, knight g6, so 2 knights heading for f4 now. In the meantime, the f5 square, it's only temporary, right? Knight f5, f6 question mark. That's why I wanted to play g6, not to allow a knight to f5. Maybe we can still extract it. Just a second, guys. Okay, guys, so yeah, this is pretty standard. I mean, this is the problem with playing kingside pawn storm. When you face an opening like the Tory attack, if I'm a King's Indian player, I'm facing the Tory attack, I play like the standard type of plan on the king side. I end up with a huge hole on f5. And the same thing here. This is very relevant. I mean, as long as this is the situation, that's a permanent outpost, f5 is not, because we can play g6 later on. It looks like white might be able to try c3 and generate some counterplay against your pawn center. So f6. Move 11 feels this is a serious mistake. I don't necessarily think so, that it's that bad. I really don't. I think you're being overly hard on f6. And you say castles. I'm sure that black has a lot of reasonable moves here. Can I just launch a knight on f4? Probably not. All right. How about h5? What if we go crazy with h5? Is white going to get some play with c3 maybe? I still think black's better here. Let's see what the engine says. Is h5 going to fail tactically? Okay, it's possible it does. It's a little bit messy. So let's try to find a better move. Okay, he's quoting the engine, castles kingside. I still think that I would find it hard to castle kingside as well. I mean, it's easy to say castle is what the computer recommends, but intuitively, yeah, I kind of wanna do what you did. So f6 question mark, and now g5 double question mark. White has to do something. I mean, this looks far more active. You know, of course you should play c3. He has to do something to combat you. Absolutely, 100%. So this is like a crazy move. White isn't well developed here. Now you can definitely... now you can, I like castling even better now, probably. Ironically, after g5. Knight f4. So you got to execute your plan. The only thing is that this capture is going to force us to take back with the f-pawn. That's probably fine because of the g-file to attack him with. Yeah, white played badly. Knight takes f4, knight takes f4, g takes f6, and you did g6. This is a cool move. I mean, I'm sure that black is clearly better after g takes f. It's just some kind of tactic I don't see. I'm still convinced this is good, but this is a cool idea. Very cool idea. I mean, the key thing is that knight on f5. So great job proving that f4 is a forever, your forever home, you know, like a dog adoption. I've been watching a lot of Animal Planet shows, so this dog has a forever home on f4. The dog on f5, example B, doesn't have a forever home. He has to go back to be adopted again. So that's a problem. Knight g7 check, king f7, forever home. All right, here. Oops, got the pawn. It's over. He's just down a piece. So white resigns shortly in this awful situation. Just totally toast. But a nice idea by move 11 with the forever home. Okay, last game for today, guys. We're going to take a look at Yabatis, who just arrived. How did your game go, Yabatis? Did you have a game tonight? Game for analysis. Am I on the right one? We are on the right one? Now I gotta go back. Jamwell. Jamiroquai. Okay, there it is. JP Muley. JP Mula. Take care, Nefedov. I'm moving next week, next Tuesday night. Our stream will be down from Monday through Friday next week. Definitely. I will be streaming this Friday, tomorrow that is, 12:30 Eastern Time. Also, Sunday Simul is on schedule with the Sunday Simul at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But next week, between Monday and Friday, we won't be streaming. Okay, guys. You drew today. Spectacular camel, not well known for draws. E4, C5, D3, Knight C6. And speaking of Larson, as I mentioned before, Larson liked to play the setup with F4, kind of a bird's opening approach. When you see C3, this could be a big clamp. They try to do F4, G3. It's like a car. I call it the car. Been smoking or something. You start to look at shapes of the pawn structure. This becomes a car formation here. It's all shaped like an upside down car. Of course, modern cars are shaped different. It's more like a kind of 60s vehicle. But not all of us really identify shapes in the pawn structures. Philosophical and important. The big clamp. Can you do the big clamp against the French? I guess that's kind of what that thing we looked at earlier was, where you do what we had one of our guys, Ludwig AC, play E4, E6, F4, E5, G3, that kind of thing. But the car is like a hatch on the top, and it kind of gets deformed. So D5, anyways. Okay, Queen C2, Knight F6. We should look for this pawn break here with C4 at some point. Black playing very classically. This is a bad move. That's White's good bishop. He doesn't want to trade it off. What does he do? He trades it off. What are you doing, sir? Now, the only hope would be to get White square control here. And I think that Yabatis could also consider fighting tooth and nail for D5. That might be a better move. So White's only plan would be to try to get Philidor style play. Giving up the bishop to get the white squares. He doesn't get anything. I think keeping the tension is the best for the black pieces here. But he just closes it up. Similar to last game. So White could get a white square bind type strategy going on. All of his pieces on the white squares. This is obviously bad. This is bad. But I think that we can say that black has the more active bad bishop here. A3, I don't like it. Like I said, a white square blockade would be better. Bishop E6, C4. Acerbate, it's the it's the acerbate reversed, the check Benoni for white. But not a good version because your your dark square bishop is gone. You've got white square pawn chain with dark square bishop gone with white here. Castles, A6, good break with B5. We also have F5 playing on both sides. Hold on a second. Last game, guys. Alright, so we've got two kinds of breaks here for black. The more thematic play is on the queen side with B5. Black's strong point is on the queen side. It's like a king's Indian. Rook B1 and then F5. This is a little bit anti-positional, let's say, to play on the white's strong side where the E4 pawn exists. It can be very effective. As I mentioned to Yabatis, that G6, to be able to recapture with the pawn on F5, I think that's very interesting. So Acerbate's in my mind here because he plays the check Benoni. He should be familiar with this idea that knight E1, bishop F3, and making your bad bishops great again. So we've had a lot of calls from Donald Trump lately, and basically I told him, he can stick it. But we learned something from his strategy in politics about bishops. Like, we have to make our bishops great again. And that's the plan here. Make your bishops great again. This is not fake news. This is a really good plan for white. Bishop e2, bishop f3, bishop e4, bishop d5. But he doesn't find it. He plays this. This is bankrupt. This has no point. Rook d1. b5, breaking on the queen side. There's a miscalculation. So if he wants to play b5, he should probably play king h8. Get the king off the diagonal. Allow no counterplay. Basically, about to sacrifice, quote unquote, sacrifices a pawn here with b5. Take, queen b3 check. And then I don't know that he has enough compensation for this pawn. I mean, it's a nice center. But at the end of the day, white is up a pawn here. So it's a bad bishop on e2. If that were somehow traded off for one of black's minor pieces, I would say that white is clearly better. Queen d7, and this now it's just a clear pawn up. He just retreats. There's nothing for black to do. We don't have c4, we don't have e4. He has some activity. I don't think it's quite enough compensation. Queen e8, migrating to the king side with attacking chances. That's why you get paid for the big bucks. Thank you for the thank you for the bit donation, 100 from Spectacular Camel. This is good. He's migrating to the king side. That was the plan when he played f5. He wanted to attack along the open file. I think that white is really solid, though. Then he takes the second pawn. And this is greedy and dangerous, because that piece is actually really the only defender of the white king side. So he's going to take a second pawn and eliminate the fact that he has a guardian, a shield on f3. So now all of a sudden it becomes like a Marshall Gambit, and all of Yubatis's pieces are focused on the white king. And I think f4 here is a possibility. There is an exchange sacrifice, like rook f4, queen e5. This actually looks really nasty. So white is in trouble now. He plays this, threatening mate. G3, now there's like the totally major serious problem of the white squares around the white king. Bishop c7, here, knight here, trying to defend. And he does a good job, and basically Yubatis starts to run out of concrete plans. Instead of this move here, well, he had to, because this is hanging, right? So bishop d6, and then this crazy move, f3. And now he has bishop takes g3. And surprisingly, white has a defense in this position. I think knight e4. But, I mean, that's hard to find. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, king h1, rook f6, and it's over. Speaking of acerbate, you would go for this. But Yubatis was hoping to do something more gradual. So now white's hanging on again. We could take on e4, sack on g3, and force a draw. But instead we have bishop e7. And it's not clear that black has enough again. h5 is a good try. Bishop d1, this is good defense laterally. h4, now the queen creeps back and there's queen h3. Suddenly the black king is feeling the heat. So c4, a good break on the other side. Just when he thought it was safe, black fakes him out and goes to the queen side. And we get a cool endgame. So 2 pawns down for black here with compensation. Great play with the bishops, maneuvering over to b6. Here, rook d2, bishop b6, king h1, and then queen h6. So he's putting a lot of pressure on white. G takes h, that hurts white's pawn structure. So we get to an endgame. He's starting mate here on g7 with that queen. So black should play rook e7. Instead he does like here. The queen gets tied down. We reach an endgame. And black has compensation. 2 nice bishops. Very strong passed pawn. There's this threat, but white has a check. So we have this, here, here, and then white loses the exchange. But unfortunately, he doesn't pick up this pawn. So basically, white sacrifices an exchange, doesn't get the pawn. Rook f6, rook d4, and there goes the pawn. And suddenly white has this queenside duo. So it seems like black is actually not better here. I think that the true evaluation is probably close to equal. Black ends up winning a pawn back. He starts to get attacking chances. Rook here, check. And then this move, that looks kind of dangerous to hem in your own king. So suddenly black has mating threats. knight e4, check here, takes the pawn, and now white's fighting for a draw. Thanks everybody for supporting the stream, by the way. We had a couple donations at the last minute from Delacorda, Spectacular Camel, and now rook d6. And after this continuation, finally white has to face a passed pawn. And that actually is very important, and it decides the game. White has 3 passed pawns, and black has only 1. But the rooks make it very difficult for white here. So, although white should probably hold with like perfect play, it's not that easy. Magnus Carlsen would win every time with both colors. So, very tough endgame to hold. There is an interesting moment coming up, though. If you'll see this position, if I remember correctly, his bishop gets tied down. That's not good. That drops. And Yabatis is basically winning if he can trade rooks. But white makes that mistake of trading rooks here. If he keeps the rooks on, it's very complicated, and I'm not sure that black can actually win. So a major mistake here by white in this technical endgame to trade the rooks. If you play something like rook d7, I think this has got to be very, very hard. I mean, I'm not sure that black is winning. But after this, it's kind of a good position because black's passed pawn is pretty powerful. So I think this is hard to hold. The Stockfish, the opening, not the opening explorer, the endgame table base says it's just lost for white. But there is a funny position here. Check, king g8, bishop g6, king f8, king e4, king e7, and now we get like bishop f5. This is a blunder, g5. So if he had checked him, either up or back, Yabatis is winning. But after g5, white misses an amazing resource. He can play bishop g4 and then bring the king into f5. There's no way for black to win. And this is surprising. But he missed it. He played king d4 and now it's lost again. It just shelters, he just shelters this pawn down. And the white king is actually cut off from stopping the pawn. So it's winning again. Make your endings winning again. Good job, Yabatis, getting that pawn down there. Finding a way to win. And this is decisive. Thanks everybody for joining me and for donating, supporting the stream, subscribing. This is a thank you to the subscriber for supporting the stream, being subscribers. I'll be back tomorrow at 1:30 with 12:30 Eastern Time with our Fast Friday Blitz stream. Thanks everybody for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks JCS for being our moderator. Thanks everyone for subscribing, and from the Ponda crew, we will see you guys later. Bye bye. Goodbye. Bye bye. See you guys later. Have a great night, and I appreciate it. Bye bye, guys.